In 2004, a divorced mom of 3 walked into a room full of investors and asked for money to start a fashion brand. Almost every single one said no. Fast forward 20 years. That same woman built a company worth over $3 billion. Her name is Tory Burch. And here's the wild part. The thing that made her rich wasn't a handbag. It wasn't even fashion. It was a decision she made after everyone told her she'd already failed. If you've ever been told, no, by someone who was supposed to believe in you, stay with me. Because Tory Burch's story isn't really about clothes. It's about what you do with rejection. Let's get into it. Tory Burch grew up in Pennsylvania, the daughter of a socialite mother and a father who ran a business. She studied art history at UPenn, worked in fashion PR for brands like Ralph Lauren and Vera Wang, and by every measure, she was living a comfortable, well-connected life. But comfortable isn't the same as fulfilled. At 36 years old, an age the fashion industry basically treats like retirement for new designers, Tory decided she wanted to build something of her own. Not work for someone else's vision. Build hers. She had an idea: affordable luxury. Clothes and accessories that felt expensive, looked expensive, but didn't require a trust fund to buy. In 2004, that idea felt almost naive. Which brings us to lesson number 1. Bet on the gap nobody else sees. Here's the thing about the fashion industry in the early 2000s. It was split into 2 lanes. You had high-end luxury, Chanel, Gucci, $1,000 bags. And you had fast fashion, cheap and disposable. Tory looked at that gap in the middle and said, what if nobody's actually serving this customer? The woman who wants quality and style but isn't going to drop $2,000 on a handbag. That's exactly the gap she filled. Her first store opened in New York's Nolita neighborhood in February 2004. She expected a quiet opening. Instead, so many people showed up that the NYPD had to control the crowd outside. By the end of that year, Oprah Winfrey named Tory Burch one of her favorite things. That single endorsement sent the brand into orbit. Real-world example. Think about how Spanx did the same thing with shapewear, or how Warby Parker did it with eyewear, pricey designer glasses on one side, cheap drugstore frames on the other, and a whole untapped middle nobody was serving. That's the pattern. Tory didn't invent a new product category. She found an underserved price and quality gap and built a brand to live inside it. The lesson: you don't always need a groundbreaking invention to build an empire. Sometimes you just need to notice the gap everyone else walked past. Turn your setback into your mission. Now here's where the story gets real. In 2006, just 2 years after launching, Tory went through a highly public divorce from her co-founder and then husband, Chris Burch. It was messy. It was humiliating in the tabloids. And by any normal measure, it should have sunk the company. County founder splits kill startups all the time. Instead, Tory did something most people don't do when they're hurting. She used the pain as fuel for purpose. In 2009, she launched the Tory Burch Foundation, focused on providing capital, education, and mentorship to women entrepreneurs. Especially women who, like her, had been underestimated or told no real-world example. Think of Sarah Blakely, founder of Spanx, who has talked openly about turning early rejection from manufacturers into the drive to build her own company from scratch with just $5,000. Or Oprah herself, who was fired from her first television job and told she was unfit for TV, and built a media empire anyway. The pattern is identical. The setback doesn't get erased. It gets converted into mission. Tory has said publicly that the foundation isn't a side project. It's core to why the company exists. That's not branding. That's turning your lowest moment into your reason for showing up every single day. The lesson: your empire doesn't have to be built despite your hardest moment. It can be built from it. Scale with intention, not just speed. A lot of founders, once they get momentum, try to grow as fast as humanly possible. Tory Burch took a different approach, deliberate, controlled expansion. She kept a tight grip on the brand's identity. The double T logo, the signature ballet flats called Rivas, the preppy meets bohemian aesthetic. Instead of chasing every trend, she built a consistent visual language and let that consistency become the brand's superpower. Today, Tory Burch operates in over 50 countries with hundreds of stores, and the company's valuation has been estimated north of $3 billion. All while staying privately held, meaning she never gave up control to outside shareholders demanding short-term profits. Real-world example. Compare that to brands that scaled too fast and lost their identity chasing every competitor, flooding into products and markets that diluted what made them special in the first place. Tory Burch instead expanded the way a chess player thinks several moves ahead, carefully, protecting the core brand at every step. The lesson: growth without identity is just noise. Real empires scale on purpose, not on impulse. So let's bring it together. Tory Burch built a $3 billion empire by 1. Finding the gap nobody else was serving. 2. Turning her most public, painful setback into her deepest sense of purpose. And 3. Scaling with intention instead of chasing speed for its own sake. She was 36, freshly divorced, and told no by investor after investor. And she built one of the most recognized fashion brands on the planet anyway. If Tory Burch's story lit something up in you, hit subscribe, because every week on this channel, we break down the real strategies behind women who built empires from nothing. Drop a comment. What's the no you're going to turn into your comeback? I read every single one. And if this video gave you value, share it with the woman in your life who needs to hear this today. Let's build. See you in the next one.